of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight from downtown St. Louis, what a gorgeous evening it is for baseball as the Cardinals play in game number 2 against the Milwaukee Brewers. It was 4 years ago today. Lance Lynn made his major league debut. It was here against the San Francisco Giants at Busch Stadium. Didn't go all that well. 5 earned in 5 1/3. Aubrey Hupp had a 3-home-run night. But since that time, Lynn has been one of the best in the game. That's Rick Horton. My name is Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us. Ironic that Lynn made his debut 4 years ago, and we'll see a major league debut on the mound tonight.
Yeah, as for Lance, he has not been as good this year as he was a year ago. 15 wins in that Cardinal rotation. He's been good, but he can be better. He walked 4 guys in his last outing. As for Tyler Cravey, we don't know much about him. 4-pitch pitcher. The Cardinals again facing somebody they haven't seen before.
Cravey gets the start for Milwaukee. Lynn for St. Louis. Yadier Molina is in the lineup. Will he be an all-star in 2015? That's a look next on Fox Sports Midwest. July 14th, the Cardinals currently with 3 starters because of voting: Matt Holliday, Johnny Peralta, Matt Carpenter. When you think of the All-Star game, you also think of the potential of Yadier Molina being part of that. He'll bat 6th tonight for the St. Louis Cardinals in Mike Matheny's lineup. It's the St. Louis Cardinals, the Milwaukee Brewers. Major League Baseball and our first pitch comes your way next on Fox Sports Midwest. St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Designated driver and enjoy the great times. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealers for great prices on our all-new 2015 vehicles today. Beautiful night for baseball. The Cardinals in first place in the National League Central Division. They lead Chicago by 5 games, Pittsburgh by 6. Cincinnati is 10 out. Milwaukee with the win last night, now 15.5 games back of the Cardinals. A look at the lineup for Craig Counsell's club: Carlos Gomez, Gerardo Parra, Ryan Braun. Adam Lynn gets the start tonight. He'll bat cleanup, play first base. Jonathan Lucroy off to a slow start. Aramis Ramirez, Gene Segura, the switch-hitting Luis Sardinas, and Tyler Cravey making his Major League debut. That's the starting 9 for Milwaukee. Lance Lynn, start number 11 tonight.
Parra up to that second spot because he hits Lance Lynn well. 4 walks in his last outing against Arizona. Only twice this year, Dan, has Lance Lynn pitched 7 or more innings. He's a guy that ought to be able to do that. I expect him to do it here tonight. He's kind of a bounce-back type guy. He's been good, as I mentioned in our open, but not great so far in 2015.
It is fastball after fastball from Lance Lynn. And the first pitch is taken for a ball. Carlos Gomez was 2 for 4 in game 1 last night with the lone RBI. And it happened with 2 outs in the first. 2-0 the count. A 2-time All-Star, the center fielder, with a very club-friendly contract, and you wonder about his future with Milwaukee. We see that a time or two from Gomez. Not your prototypical leadoff hitter. He's got speed, but he also mixes in power. And wait till you see the swing with 2 strikes.
It was a pretty hefty swing at a 2-0 pitch that was about 1.5 feet out of the zone. He's a guy that wants to hit.
Look at that swing. 2-2. We're celebrating the 1985 championship team. Your leadoff man that year
That would have been Mr. Coleman.
You didn't see swings like that.
No.
The 2-2 fouled back.
Hardly. In fact, if you did, the manager wouldn't have been too happy about it. He wanted him to hit the ball on the ground because there were a lot more hits on the ground, but Vince Coleman did not have the power that Carlos Gomez had. I would say an equal amount of flair.
The element of speed will do that. Vince Coleman, 1985, was called up, was supposed to be for a weekend, and he never looked back to the minor leagues.
He said, I'm not going. So you want me to be here just for a couple days, but he's been on record many times as telling Dal Maxwell and then Whitey Herzog as well, I'm not going. I'm not going back. You'll like me enough to keep me, and that is in fact what happened.
3-2 the count on Carlos Gomez. John Jay moving a step or two into right center. May have chased a ball there. We have had wonderful weather here in St. Louis. Again, that's the case here tonight in terms of the hot temperatures. They haven't been here yet. We know they're coming, but not quite there yet. The 3-2. Got him, and a strikeout of Gomez to start the evening for Lance Lynn.
You said it, Dan. When you talk Lance Lynn, we look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal. It's a lot of fastballs, 80.5%. Does have the breaking ball, which is in between a cutter and a slider, and he throws a curveball and a changeup as well. Not very often, just 2.6% of the time. But the fastball is pitch number one for Lance.
Here's Gerardo Parra, who's in left field tonight, batting .269, pair of home runs. He's driven in 14.
And I mentioned in that second spot because he's 11 for 22 against Lance. Lance making his third start of the season against Milwaukee. Just barely underway, and he's already making start number 3 against him.
Good numbers for Parra against the Cardinals right-hander. As he slaps that foul out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. Well, you think about Lance Lynn, big horse of this rotation, very consistent.
Well, Dan, I expected him to kind of come right out of the gate after the Wainwright injury and be the number 1 guy. And he hasn't quite done that yet, but I think that's still going to happen at some point. He's going to show himself to be the horse.
Johnny Peralta retires Parra. Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. A look at the Cardinals defense tonight. Matt Holliday is in left field. John Jay in center. Randall Grichuk in right. Jason Hayward sits. Matt Carpenter at third. Peralta at short. Wong and Reynolds on the right side of the infield. Yadier Molina is behind the plate. And the boos are for that man, Ryan Braun. To have a good rivalry, you need a villain.
Got to boo somebody.
So Ryan Braun is that villain. 2 outs, nobody on.
Of course, that's Yadier Molina. Most places the Cardinals go, and I'm not 100% sure I understand why that is, but except for 2 cities, Atlanta and Washington, where Pete Kozma is the guy that everybody likes to boo. Poor guy.
Involved in some pretty big postseason plays for the Cardinals recently. No balls, 2 strikes on Braun, who was hitless in 4 plate appearances last night. Got him to reach for it. Ground ball. Wong charging. Makes the play in a 1-2-3 inning for Lance Lynn. Major League debut. Tyler Cravey when we come back on Fox Sports Midwest. Cardinals, followed by Matt Carpenter and Matt Holliday, Johnny Peralta, Randall Grichuk, Yadier Molina, Mark Reynolds, John Jay, Lance Lynn. That's the batting order for St. Louis. Tyler Cravey, always fun to see these, a major league debut.
Really don't know a lot about Tyler Cravey, although John Mabry loves to tell us there are no secrets anymore in baseball. So they have reports. Trust me, somebody's seen him somewhere. He is a 4-pitch pitcher, 90 to 92 with the fastball. Nothing kind of out of the ordinary. 7 years in the minor leagues. And I want you to think of DeGrom's hairstyle. That's what he had about a month ago. And he cut it off. And seems to be working just fine for him.
Jacob DeGrom had the big mop.
Exactly.
The right-hander for the Mets. That pitch taken low by Colton Wong. Wong was 2 for 5 last night. Hitting .312, 6 home runs. He's driven in 23.
So Cravey's working out of the stretch. He started this year out of the bullpen in Double-A. And they needed a starter. And he reeled off about 7 straight wins, and then they sent him to Triple-A, and he was really their most reliable guy there.
2-1 on Colton Wong. Dobbs Tire Auto Center's defense behind the right-hander. Para Gomez brought in the outfield. Ramirez, Segura on the left side of the infield. Sardinhas and Lind on the right side. Lucroy behind the plate. And that's a look at the defense for Milwaukee. And the 2-1 is lifted in the air out to center field. Carlos Gomez, a Gold Glover, makes the play. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Dan, Mike Matheny told me that when you're facing a pitcher you've never seen before, like a Tyler Cravey making his big league debut, watching video is great, but communication is the key. He says especially against a guy like Cravey who can throw a number of pitches. Matheny told me he wants the guys at the top of the order, Wong, Carpenter, to start telling his teammates what they see as soon as they get to the dugout. Mike also said that since young players defer to veterans, they'll be watching Jonathan Lucroy closely to see if they can pick up any tendencies from him that will help solve Cravey. Dan?
All right, we'll have to see. Always fun to see a major league debut. As much as hitters rely on video, scouting reports, you wonder if just a guy like Cravey, who you know has nerves right now, even at this point has an edge because these players have not seen a lot of him.
Well, again, that's the edge that John Mabry says is getting smaller and smaller because the video kind of is so predominant in this game right now. There are minor league fields that have cameras where you can get shots of people, whether they're prospects or not, and then all of a sudden they become prospects and you've got a kind of a database of information about them. And it used to be a guy'd get to the big leagues and you'd barely know his name and that's it. But now you've got at least a little bit of a book on it. But it's never as good or as helpful as actually standing there in the box. And you can communicate too to your teammates. That helps. But until you stand in the box, you don't have the right feel for where the ball's being released, how he hides the ball. That's just experiential.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. The check swing, and he went. Rob Drake down at third base. The first strikeout in the career of Tyler Cravey in the big leagues. He gets a good one in Matt Carpenter. Carpenter now 0 for 5 in this series. And it brings in Matt Holliday, who is 6th in the National League in hitting, leads the club at .318.
You know, frankly, Dan, I think there's a thought in baseball, too, that some would adhere to, and I kind of go in that direction of there are times where this is the kind of thing you can overthink, too. I mean, he's not Sandy Koufax. So see the ball and hit it.
Shallow left, backing up the shortstop, Gene Segura, and he puts it away. So 1-2-3 inning for Tyler Cravey in his major league debut. Jeff Fisher, Rams coach, coming It's coming up this Sunday, beginning at 5:45 with a home run derby. Jeff Fisher has got all the Rams coming out. Many local celebrities as well. You can get tickets at stlouisrams.com. Also, rivercityrascals.com/tickets/Fisher. And again, that's this Sunday, T.R. Hughes Ballpark. And the head coach of the Rams is with us, and that is Jeff Fisher. Always good to see you,
Yes,
man.
you too. Thank you.
You
Thanks
look
for this
good.
opportunity. I feel good. We had our guys on the field for the first time today. So, yeah, it was good. And what a beautiful night for baseball.
You look rested. That's a rarity, isn't it?
I don't know if it's rested. We took a little bit of time off last week.
Yeah,
and,
what'd you do?
Got away. I got up and did some fishing in Montana.
Yeah.
And gave the veterans some time off. And we continue to work out our rookies as they're getting ready to participate in our OTAs in the next 3 weeks.
You're a baseball fan, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I'm impressed. 33-18.
Not bad, huh?
Right, best record in ball. Yeah, and so we have a pitcher in the opposing team that is making his debut tonight. Is that
That's
what I
right.
understand?
Tyler Cravey.
Yeah. Wow.
Looked pretty good in the first inning.
Yeah, he did. I have. I went to high school with Robin Yount.
Did you
With
really?
the Brewers, yes.
The Hall of Fame.
But I'm still a Cardinal fan.
Have you seen his hair lately, by the way?
I've not seen Robin in a while. No.
Wow. I mean, he's going back to those 70 hippie roots.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 70s. Yeah.
Yeah.
70s in Southern California will do it for you.
I love that Jeff Fisher comes in the booth and he's always glib. He's always fun with us. He tells us what's happening with the team. But the other thing that's so important, as Jonathan Lucroy is at the plate, is that your event on Sunday raises money, thousands of dollars for charities here, but 5 different charities, and it's very, very close to you.
They are. Wounded Warrior Project, I think everybody's familiar with that. And then Mercy Ministries, there's a home here for women. And then I do, we contribute to Catch a Dream, which is a great charity. It's the outdoor version of Make-A-Wish. And then the Snow Foundation. Here,
JT and Jack Snow.
and Jack Snow, yes, and we're raising money for their cause. And then our last one is Backstoppers here in town. So,
Ground ball hit
everybody
to
knows.
second. Colton Wong makes the play.
Go ahead.
No,
you're
go
doing
right
play-by-play. I'm just going to kind of keep talking here.
But the bottom line is you're raising money for great places that need
We
help,
do.
and you're going to raise a ton on Sunday.
It's a lot of fun. It's our 4th annual here in town. So time has flown by. All the players come out, and my team's going to win. I'll
Have you
love
ever
the team.
lost in these?
I shut my door in my office today. I had my draft, so I'm good. So
the war room.
I have some players. So yeah, it's just really fun. What's really fun for the fans that come out is to see football players doing something other than playing football.
Sure.
Without helmets on. So there's home run hitting contests, and there's autographs, and there's just a great silent auction. It's just a great evening.
Here's Aramis Ramirez, takes a pitch high, 1 ball and 1 strike. And you've got the rookies coming out as well, right?
The rookies will be there. They'll all be out. They'll be working their way through the stands with the fans and signing autographs and taking pictures. I don't allow them to play. It's a privilege to play in the softball game, so they have to wait till their 2nd year to play. But I've got guys like Trey Mason and Greg Robinson that are now graduated that they can play in the softball game.
You think Greg Robinson could, maybe hit one 500 feet?
He probably can. There's some guys that can really stroke it. Laurinaitis can stroke it.
Really?
Yeah, he can stroke it. So it's fun to watch the home run hitting contest. And then, of course, we have some guys that just can't really play at all.
You want to call them out right now?
No, because I'm gonna award someone. It's the least likely to ever be an MVP. So
I somehow think you already have that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I do. I have a pretty good idea. Yeah.
What kind of player are you?
I was a high school baseball player.
Really?
And, yeah, I was a catcher. And, I had trouble with the curveball, so I ended up playing football. Yeah, curveball got me.
You're not alone.
No.
A lot of guys had trouble,
yeah.
with Uncle Charlie. Yeah. It happens. 2 balls, 2 strikes here on Ramirez, who's hitting .221. And he pops it up. Shallow center. Coming on to make the play, John Jay. Games passed for the Jeff Fisher and Friends Celebrity Softball game. There's Laurinaitis.
Kenny Britt.
Be a lot of fun this Sunday. Jeff Fisher stays with us next inning. Johnny Peralta, Randall Grichuk, Yadier Molina coming up in the home half of the second, and there's no score as Tyler Cravey went 1-2-3 his first half inning in the big leagues. Jeff Fisher, Rams head coach, is with us once again this Sunday. The 4th annual Coach Fisher and Friends Celebrity Softball game at T.R. Hughes Ballpark. It'll start at 5:45 with the Home Run Derby. StLouisRams.com to get your tickets and find out more information about the event. Peralta is hitting .311, leads the club in home runs and RBIs. You still enjoy coaching? I mean, has it worn you down?
No. You know, it's interesting. Every year is such a different challenge because every year your team's different.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, and we've had an opportunity here to put together the kind of team that we want. And I think we're really in a good place right now. It's got great speed, got great youth, very explosive, and you know, obviously we're counting highly on our draft choices.
Yep.
You know, Todd Gurley is rehabbing. He looks great. He's going to be a great addition. All of our younger players have had a great offseason. I'm really excited about our big offensive lineman that we drafted.
Todd Gurley, at what point can you expect him to be live and say, all right, he's going to be appearing on Sundays?
You know, it's going to be somewhere early in the season. I don't know if it'll be the start, but it'll be early. I think he's rare. He's got that rare body. The knee is in great shape right now. He's rehabbing every day, and I think it'll be somewhere early. It's hard to tell. It's hard for me to predict, but he will get plenty of carries this year with Trey Mason.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Peralta. Hits it out of play. I can only imagine what it's like for Jeff Fisher, and I know you're very active in our community, but everywhere you go, someone's probably asking you, Coach, what's going to happen with the team? Are they staying in St. Louis? Are they going to Los Angeles? Are they going somewhere else? You know, what do you say to those people?
Well, this has been my position from the start, is that I've not asked questions, okay? Because that way I can answer truthfully that I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. What I do know is that we are going to put a great team on the field this year, and we're going to play here. And you know, our players love St. Louis. The organization just absolutely loves St. Louis, and we're hoping that things get worked out. But these things are out of my control. I'm coaching the team, and we're going to play here this year, and then we'll see what happens. When someone tells me different, then I'll be able to answer that question.
Do players ask you about it too? Or is it not talked about?
No, they're really focused on what we're doing. You know, they're not distracted at all. Now, I've seen this movie before because I went from Houston to Tennessee. I've moved a franchise before, and distractions can cost you games, but there's no evidence whatsoever of any distractions right now.
What would you say to our fans right now about going out and supporting the Rams?
I would
this
say
fall?
Come on out. You know, we obviously we had some injuries at the quarterback position the last couple of years. We've made a change. You know, obviously, go ahead if you want to comment there.
Go right ahead.
But you know, Sam's moved on, and he's in Philly, and we've got Nick Foles here. We've got a healthy quarterback, and we've got a team that is equipped to win a lot of games.
Nick Foles, how's he look?
Looks great. First day now. First day.
Yeah.
You know, up until today, he was throwing against air. So today he was throwing against our defense, which is a challenge.
Yeah.
But he did fine. Yeah. So we've got everybody's in great shape, and you can sense enthusiasm because it was our first day with our OTAs on the field today.
Sure. So strikeout of Johnny Peralta, Randall Grichuk now at the plate. Any baseball players you think could cross over and be football players that you've seen?
Oh boy. Holiday, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how he was heavily recruited.
Was he?
Oh, big time as a quarterback, though.
Yeah.
Does he look like a quarterback?
No. He looked appeared to be more like maybe an athletic left tackle for us.
Left tackle?
Left tackle. He's got the feet. He can do that.
Now watch
There's a
this
base
guy
hit.
run.
Huh?
This guy can run.
Yeah. This guy could return kicks for us.
There you go.
Yeah.
You could get them back on punt return. 1-out double for Randall Grichuk. Yeah, Holiday was one of the most heavily recruited high school football players, which is kind of surprising for a lot of people because you look at him, he's so big, he's putting together a potential Hall of Fame baseball career, but was a terrific talent coming out of the state of Oklahoma. Double for Randall Grichuk. Yadier Molina digs in. There's the hit speed, something that you take a hard look at now. 105.7 off the bat of Grichuk. And Molina jumps on that pitch out in front. I always found it curious, too, when you watch a pitcher, some guys, when they throw on the side, will actually grab a football to loosen up and throw. Have you seen those guys and how it transfers over from one sport to the other?
Well, I was not aware of that. That you're saying pitchers are going to throw a ball, just kind of loosen up and throw. Yeah, guys are going to throw different things. You know, we don't. Our quarterbacks don't throw baseballs to warm up. You know, they run around. It's kind of fun to watch them warm up. They have this unique routine, but it's interesting. You know, from a warm-up standpoint and what goes on and how different the routines are. You know, between one player and the next.
Runner at second is Grichuk. Molina at the plate. Here's a 1-1. In the air, down to left center, and the catch made by Parra. So back to the bag at first goes Randall Grichuk. You know, I was talking before about the fact that you're in the community all the time, and I think that's something that gets overlooked with the Rams organization as a whole. You guys have done a ton here in St. Louis. You're to be commended for that too.
Well, we appreciate that. You know, our players do a great job. You know, we have a lot of different foundations. We just had two of our players, Chris Long and Will Hayes. It was just aired on ESPN. They spent an evening with the homeless.
Saw that.
Raising awareness. It was pretty impressive. So guys have done an awful lot of really good things in the community, and that's, you know, it's so important to us. And you know, I mean, we've got a high school coaches clinic coming up next week, and we got a lot of different things going, and we just took the lead.
That's all right, Reynolds.
Is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
If
you wanted to describe it, you could have.
Yeah, I know. It just looked good, looked like something good to me.
Coach,
thanks
so much.
Thanks so much. Okay, always a pleasure. We'll see you again soon.
And I hope you're back here next year doing this with us.
So do I. Thank you.
Well said.
Okay.
Coach Fisher, make sure you join him on Sunday at TR Hughes. The base hit to score Randall Grichuk. 1-0 Cardinals after 2. Randall Grichuk, great jump from second base with 2 outs to score that run. Enter now for a chance to win a trip to the MLB All-Star Game on Fox. For you and 3 of your friends, upload 2 photos at foxsports.com/fantasticallstar now through June 3rd. Got the chance to be around Jeff Fisher privately and not in this setting. He's an impressive guy. He does care about this city. And as I said at the end, I hope we're doing this again next year. And he said, I do too.
I
Love
agree.
to hear that.
100%. I agree. He really does a terrific job with that team, and I just really appreciate his leadership style. He's very, I would say, certainly strong leader, but also understands that players make mistakes, and I just love the way he handles that as a coach.
Base hit to left by Gene Segura. Let's turn to our Toyota keys to the game with Rick Horton.
We've talked about Lance Lynn quite a bit already, but I think the reality is that we're looking for that next level Lance, and I think it's just about ready to show itself. I think he's certainly capable of that higher level, and I think as far as the offensive side for the Cardinals, to get key hits, it's something that's been missing the last 10 days to 2 weeks, and when you lose, that happens, and when you win, you get those hits. So will they get the big hits as they did with Mark Reynolds in that second inning and drive in runs? And, you know, it's not only the number of hits you get, it's when you get them.
Luis Sardinas, a switch hitter playing second base, came from Texas in the Yovani Gallardo deal. Overall at 250, this side of the plate at 273. He chops it off the plate in a foul ball.
We talked about it some yesterday, but Mark Reynolds with that hit, there is just a difference in his swing to put the ball in play that he is starting to develop over the last couple of weeks that I think is going to make him a force in this lineup. And he certainly has power, but to be able to put the ball in play the way he is, you're going to get your hits, you're going to drive in more runs.
Hit the other way, backing up Holiday, and he makes the catch. Coach Fisher said Holiday would be a left tackle. I said, Coach, he was a quarterback in high school.
Well, that shows how much he's been lifting since he was in high school.
Here's Tyler Cravey. Lynn has struck out one, no walks, one base hit. That's Segura. Have to keep an eye on Segura. He stole 44 back in 2013 and 20 a year ago. Cravey gets the bunt down. Reynolds flips it to Wong for the out. Sacrifice is good. And we're back to the top of the lineup in Carlos Gomez.
I like what you said, that Jeff said about Holiday. It reminds me of being in spring training with Bill Parcells for about 4 innings, watching a spring training game, and he was looking at all the Cardinals and saying, middle linebacker, left tackle, safety, wide receiver, and it by body type,
sure,
and by the way they move, it's just, that's the coach, you know.
Carlos Gomez struck out back in the first swinging. First time the Brewers have had a man in scoring position tonight.
Most of the pitchers would tell you they're quarterbacks.
I have seen a lot of pitchers, especially when we get towards August and September, get to the ballpark early enough and football's in the air, and they're throwing the football. Yeah. Remember, Adam Dunn used to do that as a way to warm up every night in Cincinnati.
Tom House at one point was the pitching guru throughout the game of baseball. He'd been a player and then it was a coach, and he advocated throwing footballs as a way to strengthen your arm. Some didn't agree with that, some did, but you'd find, especially with the Texas Rangers at the time, they would do that throughout their minor league clubs. The pitchers would always be playing catch with a football.
Mm-hmm.
Some didn't like it, some did.
Outfield is straight away. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs and a runner at second base.
Told the story before, but I was in a bullpen conversation where all the pitchers were saying I was all-state quarterback. I was a quarterback, could have played at Stanford. I could have played at Oklahoma. And they asked me, what did you do in high school with football? And I said, well, I sold hot dogs at halftime for the Honor Society. And it was true. Is that sad or what?
Rick.
Somebody had to do it.
2-2.
Horton. Lance Lynn
The
showing
other part of that story was that the fact that you pocketed it 75% of what you sold. Here's a 2-2.
Lance has that swing and miss stuff, and it's one of the things that sets him apart. The fastball that he can ride up in the zone. Very smart about the way he uses his fastball.
Nice play made by that fan, and now he's got to figure out how to cut that thing up 3 different ways. Good luck.
I see a trip to the team store in his future.
You bet. Here's a 3-2. Fouled back, and a good cut again by Gomez. Lynn's velocity has been around 93, 95. Last pitch at 94. First at bat, 9 pitches seen. This one 7 for Gomez. Runner at second base, Gene Segura. Leadoff hit. That pitch is pulled foul. Good battle here with Lynn and Gomez. Three-two pitch. Foul back again. So you're in this kind of battle right now.
Gets harder for the pitcher. I mean, I know where you're going with that, because the hitter's seeing more and more pitches. The pitcher's thinking, okay, I tried that, I tried that, I tried that. And there's nothing that is like totally kind of blowing him away here. So where do you go? You don't have 7 different pitches. You have to repeat something.
3-2 again, and this time he got him. 2 strikeouts tonight for Lynn. Both have been of Carlos Gomez. Brewers strand a runner at second base. We're midway through 3. Cardinals lead it 1-0 here at Busch Stadium in St. On the run, when the Cardinals score 6, any size drink is just 50 cents the next day. Coffee, fountain, frozen, or when they score, you pour. At your nearest On the Run, you earned it. John Jay, Lance Lynn, Colton Wong for St. Louis. The Cardinals come into tonight's play second in the National League in hitting at 267. But what has been a little bit alarming this year, the strikeouts. They struck out 11 times in game 1 of this series, and they're averaging a strikeout every 5 plate appearances. Up and into Jay, 1-2 the count.
Nice to have John Jay back on the roster after dealing with issues with his wrist, thumb. He's a different hitter than everybody else on this Cardinal club. He is a contact hitter. He's not much of a strikeout guy generally, and he's more of an average guy from the left side. So he may not have the power of a Hayward or the gap power that he has, but he's a solid defender, and he just gets his hits.
Sardinez makes the play. John Jay retired, brings in Lance Lynn, who's hitting 158 this 2015 campaign. The run the Cardinals scored in the second inning was the first by the Brewers in 19 innings, going back to their 17-inning walk-off win. Then you had the shutout last night. Relievers currently have 12 scoreless innings on the line. And this is a team that is 27th in ERA in Major League Baseball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lynn, base hit into left. Love the drink run with any size, any flavor McCafe. Shake for just $1.99 at McDonald's. 1 out hit for Lynn brings in Colt Wong. We saw in the back end of the game last night, Francisco Rodriguez has not had many save opportunities this year. But he now has 357 career saves, 1 back of Troy Percival for 9th all-time in baseball history. Mariano Rivera, the all-time leader, at 652. Lynn playing behind the runner at first. The changeup taken low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Thinking about the John Jay being back in this lineup as that left-handed bat, we thought coming out of spring training the Cardinals may be too left-handed in their attack, but with Matt Adams being hurt, Jason Hayward not in the lineup today, all of a sudden you look at the lineup, there's only 3 lefties against this right-handed rookie making his major league debut.
Segura part of the double play. 6-3. We head to the 4th, 1-0 St. Louis. A look at the T-Mobile game changer. This time last year, Milwaukee got off to such a good start. First month and a half. 35-23, and now they're 18-34 this year.
Cardinals a lot better than a year ago at this time, and so are the Chicago Cubs. That's the big changes in the Central Division. Milwaukee, of course, went through that major swoon in the last month and a half of the season, and it just almost inexplicable how a team that had this great energy together just lost it and hasn't really found it.
Cost their manager at the time, Ron Renicky, his job, and now Craig Counsell is in. Here's Parham. 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup for Milwaukee. Think of Craig Counsell. He's been a part of 2 really big moments in the Fall Classic. Game 7, bottom of the 11th with the Florida Marlins at the time. Edgar Renteria, the game-winning hit to drive in Counsell. And then bottom of the 9th, Game 7, while playing with Arizona, Luis Gonzalez with a game-winning RBI. Scored the World Series winning run twice in his career.
Within a 5-year period, that's the dream that every 12-year-old baseball player has.
Parr with a fly ball into right. Randall Grichuk over, makes the catch.
I'm not sure whether you'd rather drive him in or score the run. I guess you'd rather drive him in.
That's what I was thinking. But either way,
you'd rather drive yourself in. If you're going to dream big.
Joe Carter.
Home run, game over, Joe Carter moment. Bill Mazeroski. Just a little bit out in front of that. Looked like that ball might go further off the bat of Parra, but he didn't quite catch it with his power. Power kind of got released just a tad early.
This has been the hottest hitter for Milwaukee. And yet he is 0 for 5 thus far in this series. Late April to now, he's had 34 RBIs, 11 home runs. He's closing in on the Hall of Famer Robin Yount, the all-time home run list for the Brewers. Yount at 251 and Braun 242. No balls, 2 strikes. That baseball exploding in on the hands.
There's a lot of really good players that have played this game that are often, unfortunately, now difficult to talk about. And you could put in Ryan Braun in that category, Pete Rose, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Alex Rodriguez. You want to praise them for what they've done and their ability, but it's just kind of hard to find the right words for it.
And for Braun, the numbers bear it out that he has not been the same player. So the first 2 are down, and it brings in Adam Lind. Krispy Kreme doesn't deal. The Cardinals get 9 hits tonight. You're invited into Krispy Kreme tomorrow. Receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for only $3.99. And stop by one of the 4 St. Louis area Krispy Kreme locations for this sensational deal. Adam Lind, strike 1. Fly to left, first time up. Got off to a hot start. He's cooled since then. He came over from the Toronto Blue Jays in the offseason for right-handed starter Marco Estrada. And the 0-1.
We were in Milwaukee, and Ron Renicky, when he was the manager at the time, was saying we have one player that's playing up to their potential right now, and it's Adam Lind.
In many ways, Craig Counsell was being groomed to be the next general manager. Doug Melvin apparently has said that after next year, he'd like to step aside and move more to a role that's consulting. And Counsell was really looking to be the GM or some type of director of baseball operations. His father had worked for the Brewers in their front office when he was growing up. So baseball has always been in his blood, he was telling me before the game. And they felt they had to make the move, and he was the right guy for this position. Grew up in Milwaukee and now managing his hometown team. 2-2, a little tapper. And Lynn underhands to Reynolds. A 1-2-3, top of the fourth. The big right-hander Lance Lynn. As we move to the home half of the fourth, and let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Dan, Marco Gonzalez is apparently making progress as he tries to bounce back from a left shoulder impingement. Marco's been rehabbing here in St. Louis. According to John Mozeliak, the goal is for Marco to strengthen the shoulder and the area around it. Mozeliak says Gonzalez has been rehabbing under the watchful eye of the Cardinals medical staff. Mozeliak says Marco is doing better and will likely head to Jupiter early next week to resume his rehab there. Dan, no timetable for a return by Marco, according to John.
All right, thank you, Jim. And here's Matt Carpenter. I wonder if you're the Cardinals, you're John Mozeliak, you're waiting for those reports on Marco Gonzalez to then see how much you want to put that toe in the water in terms of diving in and saying, okay, I'm going all in. I've tried my internal options, and now I need to be protecting my pitching staff down the stretch, and we'll look outside the organization.
I think your internal option is working pretty well in Jaime Garcia.
Oh, yeah.
And he was really the fifth guy you were looking for in this rotation. And really, you look at the five guys, they're more than handling themselves. It's a long season. Things change. And a month from now, that may be different. It may be that Gonzalez is ready. Maybe he's not. Maybe there's another injury. You don't know. So very difficult, I think, to be a general manager in this kind of situation, because you almost have to see the crystal ball and say, where is my staff going to be 6 weeks from now? You can project all you want, but you really don't know.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Carpenter. And it's popped up down the left field line. Parra coming hard, and who wants it? No one gets it, and 2 of the Brewers fall into the stands. It's Segura with a smile on his face, and looks like he's all right. Thank goodness. Love the effort here.
Well, all 3 get there at the same time. Ramirez pushes Segura in, goes in himself. Parra goes down. Really wasn't sure who got the brunt of that. First I thought it was Parra, then Segura, but that is a interesting meeting of 3 players at one time at one place. But a great effort by all 3. That's a different kind of team meeting.
That pitch taken low, and it's 3-2. Carpenter struck out back in the first, the 3-2 pitch, and he draws a walk. Hit a home run with the Hilton St. Louis at the ballpark and the St. Louis Union Station Hotel. Choose one of our Cardinals baseball packages and score for your team. Go to HiltonSt.Louis.com or call 314-421-1776. A leadoff walk, and it brings in Holiday. Good cut by Matt. Matt Holiday has reached base to open this season. 45 consecutive games entering tonight. Longest streak in the majors since Derek Jeter's record 53 games back in 1999. And a double play ball for 6-3. Segura fires a strike over to Lynn. Second double play turned by Milwaukee.
Notice Segura's release of this baseball. That ball was hit hard by Matt Holiday, but Segura was able to throw that ball on the run. We've talked about how he's kind of had a little bit of yips in terms of maybe that extra step, but he's on the move, steps on the base, keeps going, and delivers the ball all in one motion. It's almost like not thinking about it's better for him.
Hit down the right field line off the bat of Johnny Peralta. Struck out swinging back in the second inning. You look at this lineup in the core of the team right now for the Brewers. Gomez, Parra, Ramirez, Segura. And those are all players that could be on the move. You know, Braun has been locked up long term. Lucroy was an all-star a year ago. But those other pieces to this puzzle here in 2015 could be on the move. And this is a very, and I mean very important couple of months upcoming for Milwaukee, trying to get the right pieces in rebuilding.
Yeah, and I think they're having all those discussions at multiple levels in the front office. There's no question about it. The players have to kind of see what they can prove on the field for their new manager, who may be their next general manager, as you mentioned earlier, or at least certainly going to be a part of this brain trust here in Milwaukee. But, you know, my guess is that they're going to give that a chance to kind of play out a little bit. And again, I think it's very easy to make a move prematurely. I mean, if the Brewers win 15 of their next 20 games, then it's an entirely different conversation. If they respond to Counsell and his leadership and the pitching staff becomes better, they should be better than they are. Their rotation. I mean, that's a lot of ifs, but it could happen.
Peralta broke his bat. Carpenter raced on a double play. No damage done. We head to the fifth. Lewis. And thank you, Pat. Jonathan Lucroy, Aramis Ramirez, and Gene Segura. Lucroy grounded out to second, first time up. He is now 6 for 50 to start the year. Remember, he finished 4th in the MVP balloting last year, the National League. Started the All-Star game behind the plate. The only two that have done that in Milwaukee history, Lucroy and Ted Simmons.
And right now what I see at the plate is a guy who's just feeling for his swing. He's really not swinging with authority. He's just trying to kind of make contact. The ball's just not jumping off his bat the way it did a year ago. A lot of doubles for Lucroy last year. Again, terrific season. He's a really good player, no question about it. But after the injury, he's just not, and even really before it, has not been able to repeat that performance yet. That's the field swing I'm talking about. That's off balance. It's kind of it's almost a half swing. It's just kind of, let me see if I can put this ball in play. And that's not the Lucroy that we've seen.
Rick, he had 53 doubles last year, 46 as a catcher. He has none. We played 2 months of the season now. He was out since April 20th with a fractured big toe.
But it's still 50 at-bats.
Exactly.
50 at-bats without a double is significant.
That pitch up and a base hit into right. Second hit for Milwaukee. BJC Healthcare difference maker, and over the years this guy has tore up the St. Louis Cardinals.
3 Hall of Famers on this particular graphic. Of course, Andre Dawson and Mike Schmidt, Hall of Famers, and they have the most RBIs against the Cardinals since 1969. But Aramis Ramirez, every time we turn around, he's driving in 2 or 3 runs. Doesn't matter what uniform he's in. Again, this is his final season as a big leaguer.
Popped up on the outfield grass, Colton Wong. 1 away. 1 down brings in Gene Segura. Your impressions of Lance Lynn so far?
I think he's been good, and he had a couple of big pitch innings, and really the strikeout of Carlos Gomez may be the most impressive moment. He had that long count in the 3rd inning, was able to strike him out. Hasn't walked a batter in this game. Again, I mentioned the 4 walks he had in his last outing. Too many for a guy like Lance Lynn. Very interested in seeing if he can get through 7 innings. I think that's a good milestone to push for here for Lance.
If you really look at the difference in Lynn from a year ago to now, it's not what he's done on the mound. It's been run support.
Right.
Last year, over 5 runs a game. This year, he's getting under 3. But you look at what he's done on the mound, pretty much the same stuff. The strike to Segura. Single to left, and then was left stranded back in the 3rd. 13 of 16 first pitch strikes.
Therefore, very few walks. Yeah, the run support's not something you can control, other than 1 every 9 batters you get a chance to swing the bat, but you don't expect to be able to control that much. Quick move to first by Lance. Almost got Lucroy, who runs well. There are many that will say that wins and losses don't really matter for a starting pitcher. It's some of your peripherals, maybe your earned run average and your whip and other numbers. Lance Lynn's not one of them. He keeps saying, boy, my job is to win, period. And he understands he can't control what his offense does, but if they get him 2 runs and he has to allow 1, that's the way a starting pitcher has to think. I got to give up 1 less run or more than my guys get me. That's it. That's what your job is, whatever that is.
He's had a couple of quick moves over to check on Lucroy. 1 out, 1 ball, 1 strike, and a 1-run lead for the Cardinals here in the top of 5. Little bouncer. Can they turn 2? Wong spins. There's 1, and safe at first. With each day I watch Colton Wong, and I just think he's growing in confidence, so much so defensively.
Well, I don't think he's rushing. You know, he's quick. I know he's quick. We know he's quick, but he's not rushing. He's doing it at a pace that just flows better. And we talked about his transition from glove to hand being quick, Dan. I think that's what all second basemen are good at doing is having that quick transfer from glove to hand on the double play, on the play up the middle, on the play in the hole. And he's doing a lot of things well on the defensive side, including jump, as we saw him yesterday. How about that play?
Tremendous. I asked him about the play in the clubhouse today, and he said, I had no idea I could jump that high. He said he saw it on the replay, and he was even amazed himself. A tremendous catch. Big Cardinal fan Ella Kurtz is watching tonight. Wish her good luck and her team in the State Cup. Never misses a game. That pitch taken low. Luis Sardinas. Fly to left his first time up. 2 outs, runner at first, and that's Segura. Last couple of weeks, as the starters have gone deeper into games, things have calmed down considerably in terms of worrying about the innings for the bullpen.
Well, that's going to ebb and flow, though, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah.
And it's a long season. You worry about your bullpen for a couple of days. They're overworked. They're not effective. What are we going to do? There's no 8th inning guy. And then 2 weeks later, your bullpen's the hottest bullpen in baseball, and you're not worried about them. It's just baseball. You worry about different pieces, and as a manager and as a coach, you're always trying to kind of fine-tune what's not working and get it right.
Oh, he got him. Picked off at first, Segura. How about the moves tonight from Lance Lynn? Very quick over to first. Twice he almost got Jonathan Lucroy. This time he does get Segura. The tag by Reynolds. That sends us to the bottom of the 5th. Live in high definition with MLB.TV Premium. It's the #1 live streaming sports service. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Visit MLB.tv. Randall Grichuk with a double to left and then scored on a 2-out hit from Mark Reynolds. That was in the second inning. Out in front, pops it up. Lucroy will give chase behind home plate. Out of play. Well, here we are, early June, and Jason Hayward sits tonight.
Jason sits, and you find yourself riveted to the at-bats of Randall Grichuk.
Sure do. Well, you look at the extra base potential, already what he's done. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Another example of why organizational depth matters for a club. That you've got guys in AAA or in the pipeline that are going to be able to produce at the big league level when they are given the opportunity, instead of just trying to find somebody to play. And frankly, there are teams that do that, Dan. There's a lot of 4A players, we like to say, that are maybe not quite big leaguers, but you know, they get pressed into service. But Grichuk, certainly a prospect and beyond.
A 2-hit night, he's 2 for 2.
There's the flat bat, short stroke, power.
That swing, though, shows you that, and even he was telling us, the bat starts flat, but still gets back to the position where it was,
of course,
last year.
Right, exactly.
Grichuk with 1 stolen base this year.
He does run well.
Think about a hit and run in this position with Yadier Molina. Molina fly to left first time up. Oh, and 2. Major league debut for Tyler Cravey, and so far so good. He's pitched well. Cardinals have just 4 hits. He has struck out 2. He's walked 1. And his pitch total is up to 56. Brewers got exactly what they needed last night from Mike Fiers. Boy, did they need innings, and they got it.
And if they didn't get innings from Tom Fiers last night, who was very good pitching up in the zone, jamming Cardinals left-handed and right-handed batters, if he didn't do what he did last night, we would have seen Cravey last night, and they would have been scrambling to find 9 innings today. They really didn't have a good answer yet. They were hoping they could save Cravey for today, and he has been good working into the 5th.
Molina, a strikeout. 3rd for this right-hander. What's on Tap, brought to you by Budweiser. We'll wrap up the homestand and the series tomorrow. Nelson and Lackey tomorrow at noon will come your way. Budweiser, what's on Tap? Nice interview with Jim Hayes and John Lackey on the pregame show tonight. One out runner at first. Here's Reynolds. He blooped a single into center field. He didn't like that call. That single was an RBI, his 14th. Now 3 for 5 in the series. Here's a broken bat. Could be 2 again. Out at second. Out at first. 3 double plays in 5 innings turned by Milwaukee. And look at run support and what he had last year and what he's getting this year. Everything else almost identical.
So with 5 runs a game, maybe he's 5-2 instead of 3-4, and that's where the win-loss people would say that pitcher can't control that. The ERA is actually lower than it was same time a year ago. But this is about the time where Lance Lynn started to take off a bit too, Dan, and I expect that to happen with him. Final 23 starts of the year a year ago, he went 7+ innings 7 times. That's a big number. That's deeper into games. And again, we mentioned he hasn't been getting 7 innings or more in the early going. Command's part of that. He's just at 68 pitches here. So he's on pace to be able to go deeper into this game.
Cardinals have hit into 3 double plays tonight, 3 consecutive innings. Here's the 0-1. And a ground ball hit sharply to second, bobbled by Wong, stays with it and makes the play. Friday, June 12th, Budweiser providing 25,000 fans ages 21 and older the 5th Stein in the Championship Series, which highlights the 30th anniversary of the Cardinals' 1985 National League Championship team. Tickets still available at cardinals.com/promotions. Good to see Danny Cox at the ballpark tonight. He was part of the Bud Bash.
Did you just go from Bierstein to Danny Cox
I did.
In one sentence? Was that just by accident, or was there
It was by accident, actually, but it fits.
But I happen to notice it. Danny, great to see him. His father's here, his uncle, and his nephew here at the ballpark, and actually had his son throw out the first pitch, Kyle,
Very cool.
which was a very meaningful thing for Danny. And just, you know, when I see Lance Lynn pitch, I've said it many times, there's some things about him that remind me of Danny Cox. Just competitor, pound the strike zone, kind of a bulldog type mentality. Danny had some big years for the Cardinals in the 80s. Dave LaPointe also here at the ballpark. He's going to be a part of the Cardinals fantasy camp that will begin here on Thursday when the club leaves town to go out to Los Angeles.
Lined into right, Grichuk is there. Playing very shallow. It pointed to his eyes. You wonder, yeah, right there. You wonder if he lost it a little bit in the lights. We've seen when you play shallow this time of night, that seems to be a dangerous spot for a right fielder.
Could be the lights, could be banks of signs that perhaps are just at the wrong level. That almost got played into the first big league hit for Tyler Cravey.
No walks allowed by Lynn. Just 2 hits. This has been a good battle tonight. The first 45 pitches of the game for Lance Lynn, 20 of them were to this guy, Carlos Gomez.
Well, credit Gomez for that. Making him work. Fouled off some good pitches in that last at-bat before missing the fastball down and away. And that's where Lynn goes again.
Tough play, base hit, Gomez. He'd struck out the previous 2 times, and he bunts his way on a 2-out hit.
I've got a player on my team that has the power of Carlos Gomez. The only way I'm happy about you bunting with 2 outs is if you steal second base too. In some ways the Cardinals may say, well, that's not a big deal to let Gomez get on first base with what the potential is, and kind of just drop that ball, deadened it right in front of Lance Lynn. He tried to catch and throw at the same time. And so again, I'm managing Milwaukee. I'm saying go, steal second.
Not running on the first pitch, taken for a ball. Guara has grounded out to short, also flied out to right.
Just to explain that further, Dan, if Gomez is able to get a bunt single down, you still need 3 hits to score a run. Gomez can score a run with one swing of the bat by himself. You don't need 3 hits, you just need 1. Now, you might not get it, but it's worth trying to hit a double, extra base hit. But again, if he steals second, it's like a double.
Cardinals had a great outing last night from Garcia. Could not score any runs. If you couple that with what Lynn has done so far, they've given up, Lynn and Garcia, a total of 9 hits in 14 2/3. That's it.
That's a nice lead right there.
I'd say. Big first base.
People always wonder what the catcher's doing when he looks into the dugout. We saw a pickoff here the last inning. And when Molina looks into the dugout, he's not getting a pitch selection from the manager or the pitching coach. He looks in right there. He's looking for pickoff, pitch out, or throw over, or step off, or go ahead and throw. He's getting that from the manager. I think people believe often that the pitching coach is giving signs, but that never happens. It's between pitcher and catcher only.
This could be the at-bat of the game right here. Ryan Braun, 2 runners on. This is the first base runner they've had in scoring position since back in the 3rd. I want to wish the Miller family condolences in the passing of Ralph Miller, a huge Cardinal fan and a vet who passed away this morning. Thoughts and prayers with the Miller family. Here's Ralph Miller. 2 outs, 2 on. And a strike to Braun. He didn't like it. Oh, 1 pitch. Strike on the outside corner, and Braun cannot believe it. Joe West with the call, the crew chief tonight.
Lance get a break here?
I'd say. Go back even further outside. What do you think?
Worth a shot.
The 0-2. Braun has to protect the plate.
And Joe West smiling there, but I could almost guess that Ryan Braun asked him, was that a strike? Kind of in somewhat sarcastic language, because, and a player wants to know that. I mean, I don't think that's a strike, but if you're going to call it, I need to know. And on that 0-2 pitch, he just kind of lunged at the ball. Crowd likes this moment.
Got him. Bottom of the 6 rolls in. The movement here from Lance Lynn as we go pitch by pitch on Braun.
Lance Lynn showed his fastball this at bat. He got the benefit of the outside corner and then some. So it's 0-2, and Braun's not happy with that particular call. So Lance Lynn goes out there again, and he's able to foul off a pitch. Then he comes inside with a sinking fastball that bottom just dropped out. And a tough at bat for Ryan Braun, and a very important one for Lance Lynn.
John Jay, Lance Lynn, and Colton Wong for the Cardinals. Jay grounded out to second, first time up. Falls behind, 0-2. Cardinals just 4 hits. Milwaukee with 3. The difference in the game, Mark Reynolds a single to center field to score Randall Grichuk in the 2nd inning. That's all the scoring tonight. If you're the Brewers, you have to be very pleased in this major league debut. You really don't know what you're going to get in the debut.
Well, they really didn't have much to say about him as a coaching staff. They saw him some in spring training, but again, he was a guy that was in Double-A in their bullpen and been a career minor leaguer for 7 seasons. So not a guy really on their radar. Jumped ahead of a couple other prospects to get this chance here because he's really having a career season, kind of pulling it all together finally.
This is the 3rd debut being made against the Cardinals this year. Raisel Iglesias went 5 innings for Cincinnati. Severino Gonzalez of the Phillies went 2 2/3, 10 hits. And Jay caught looking, and he strikes out. 4 strikeouts tonight for this right-hander.
It's a sneaky fastball, and that last pitch, maybe a good indication of it. Caught the Cardinals looking a couple of times. I think he's just something about his delivery that it's hard to pick up the baseball.
One of the Cardinals' 4 hits belongs to Lance Lynn, a single to left. Then was erased on a double play back in the 3rd. There's strike 1. After tomorrow, Cardinals head out to Los Angeles and then Colorado. Saturday and Sunday, Mike Matheny's club will face Clayton Kershaw and Zach Greinke. It'll be the next assignment for Lance Lynn. Zach Greinke on Sunday night. Jaime Garcia will get Clayton Kershaw. Michael Wacha will go on Thursday against Carlos Frias. Carlos Martinez against Brett Anderson. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dodgers have played very well at home, 21-7. On the road, 9-13.
Cardinals' 2nd best home record in all of baseball. The Dodgers have the best.
It's been some very frustrating visits for the Dodgers here to Busch Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of the postseason, which is obvious, but also just the strike zone. Heard Matt Kemp last year during the playoffs over the weekend. It was Justin Turner, A.J. Ellis. You think about the crowd and the umpires, you know, they get into it. They feed off a crowd to an extent. One-two pitch. It's not supposed to happen, but you've seen it, Rick. It does.
But it also happens where, out from the player's point of view, with it feels like it's you against the world, and the umpires happen to be a part of that world because you're in a hostile environment. In that everybody's cheering everything that goes wrong for you, you just feel as if you don't really have an advocate.
Back-to-back strikeouts, 5 tonight for Tyler Cravey. DraftKings players to watch. Highest average with runners in scoring position. Matt Carpenter at 444. That's 3rd best in the National League. Right behind him is Matt Holliday at 432. Colton Wong chops it slowly towards first. Lind steps on the bag. The debut of Cravey. It's been a good one for Milwaukee. 1-0 St. Louis. At Holiday, Carpenter, Peralta, Wong, Molina. Their current position in the balloting, their positions. It ended today. Holiday, Carpenter, and Peralta are in. I would think Wong and Molina have a great chance as well.
They sure do. And you think about the pitching staff for the Cardinals, they still lead the National League with earned run average. You got Trevor Rosenthal with 15 saves. You've got Michael Wacha pitching well, and you got a lot of other possibilities.
Right-hander getting loose in the bullpen for Milwaukee. No activity for St. Louis. It'll be Lind, Lucroy, and Ramirez. Cardinals lead it 1-0. Another tight ball game. It's Kyle Loesch throwing in the pen. In the air, left center. Jay on the move, won't get there. Drops in. Leadoff hit to start the 7th.
Location not bad. Off the plate, down.
Loesch has had a really tough year. 11 starts with an ERA of 6.5.
Scheduled to start on Friday. In Minnesota. And he's either getting his work and they held him off just in case he may have to pitch, or he's getting ready to maybe be in the game for an inning or so as his work. He's still trying to make that start.
Last year we saw Milwaukee hit and run a lot with Lucroy at the plate. 2 balls, no strikes. This might be a time to do it with Lind, the runner, at first base. Obviously not great speed there. But when right, Lucroy, a contact man. Two and one.
Well, they like to hit and run with him, and you just don't want to run into an out because you've had so few base runners. I think that's the problem. And when you've got a guy that runs well at the plate, you worry a little less about the double play. Doesn't mean it can't happen if you hit the ball hard right at somebody. But Lucroy's going to try to shoot that ball to the right side, I would guess, as he did his last at bat.
Trying to do it right there. So 2-2 the count.
And really, it seems like that's his best swing right now, too. Lynn had a ball up in the zone. He drove it to right for a base hit. And again, he's still feeling for that swing. It's not kind of a natural aggressive approach for him yet.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Very short lead at first. Brewers did make a move today. They designated Elian Herrera for assignment, who's hitting .212, and they brought in Hernan Perez from Detroit, who was just 2 for 33. We saw him in the series against the Cardinals a couple of weekends ago. He's now with the Milwaukee Brewers. The 2-2. We have Loesch up, and remember they played the 17-inning game. Matt Garza had to come in, throw 5 in that particular win. A walk-off win against Arizona. Martin Maldonado with a home run. Garza supposed to throw yesterday. Fiers had to move up for game 1. That's why we have the debut of Cravey here tonight. The 2-2. Strikeout number 4.
Lucroy just tied up on the inner half from this delivery. And there's that down and in sinker. Same pitch he threw to Ryan Braun, and it's just not a good spot for Lucroy right now inside. Just tied up, and give Lance Lynn credit. That was nasty. Good pitch number 93.
Ramirez Ramirez.
And we talked about Lance getting through 7 innings, and he's one good sinker away from doing that.
Seth Maness out in the Cardinals bullpen.
Speaking of good sinkers.
Time granted by Joe West. Ramirez Ramirez, 375 career home runs. His next will tie him with Hall of Famer Carlton Fisk, 74th all time in baseball history. You wonder if he gets into a pennant race, what's left in the tank the final couple of months, if he hops on a team and could get hot down the stretch. Really has had a nice career.
He really has. And again, that need for the right team, the right place, the right injury that happens on a team, the right need could create some value, and enough value to make the deal and get something back for it. Because what are you going to lose if you're Milwaukee?
You know he's gone anyway.
Right.
2-2 the count. See Lynn snap at the baseball a couple of times. The throws back by Molina. He wasn't happy at all when Joe West granted time and he completed the pitch.
Just wondering who he wasn't happy with.
Maybe a little of both. Short lead at first, the 2-2 taken outside.
Thing you always worry about with Ramirez, and we're talking about a sinker and wanting a double play, but he's always been a good low ball hitter.
In that regard, he reminds me of Holiday a little bit. That low ball and able to drive it out of the ballpark.
You could see it in that last swing there. He was a little late on a pitch at the knees, but had an aggressive swing at it.
Inning started with a base hit by Adam Lynn. Lucroy struck out. Ramirez 0 for 2 tonight. Fly to center, popped out to second. Three-two pitch. High fly ball lifted in the air, right center. Catch made by Jay. Two down, and it brings in Gene Segura. Segura single to left, back into third, left stranded. Grounded into a fielder's choice. 2 outs, check swing, and watch out. Liner over that netting and into the seats, and let's hope everybody's all right. And everybody is, by all accounts. 0-1 pitch to Segura. Take it for a ball outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brewers have dealt with injuries this season. Willie Peralta, strained oblique. Brandon Kitzler, knee tendonitis. And a big one was Chris Davis, torn meniscus. One pitch. Lynn has been getting that call against right-handed hitters tonight, that outside corner.
He has, very similar to the pitch to Ryan Braun, off the plate. Inch or two. Braun says, I feel your pain.
Strikeout number 5 for Lance Lynn. Segura slams his bat, slams his helmet. And it's time to stretch here in St. Louis. Big strikeout for Lynn. 1-0. St. Louis. Major League debut, 6 innings. Gomez 1 for 3. Lynn 7 strong innings, 5 strikeouts. Randall Grichuk, pair of hits. He's 2 for 2. 1-0. We've had a total of 2 runs in this series thus far. The Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. Gateway Honda dealers will donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Here's Matt Carpenter, who has struck out and walked. And the first pitch taken for a ball.
Well, Dan, I said in inning number 1 that Lance Lynn has been good this year, but he could be better. And tonight he has been.
Nobody up and throwing in the Cardinals pen. Broxton and Blazek had been throwing in the Milwaukee pen. Our best guess is that Loesch is just throwing on the side.
I think that's true. Again, because the relievers kind of replaced him when there was an issue or a potential to get to the pitcher's spot. Really, Gravy's done a terrific job himself. Really one pitch away from being in the same place that Lance Lynn is.
Nowhere close, so walk to Carpenter. That bullpen will get loose again and in a hurry. Leadoff walk on 4 pitches. Second walk for Carpenter, and it brings in Holliday. Holliday has not reached base tonight. Not yet. Michael Blazek, who is a rookie. We saw him, though, appear with St. Louis, briefly with Milwaukee, and coming off a very good month. Up and into Holliday, 5 straight balls. Trying to extend his on-base streak to 46. Outfield is deep. 1-0 pitch. That's a nasty pitch right there on 1-0 to Holliday.
Really good slider, catching the outside corner, and that's how you become a big leaguer. That's how you make that jump. You throw off-speed pitches on the black when you're behind in the count. Big difference between minor league pitchers and big league pitchers.
One and two.
And then not only do you do it once, you repeat.
What's helped out Cravey along the way, 3 double plays turned by Milwaukee tonight. You know, in the hands of Holliday, who has gotten to this point in his streak with sickness.
May not be at his best right now, but you know, Matt Holliday not at his best is still pretty darn good, and he got hit with a pitch in his left elbow, and he's been sick, and yet he's still finding ways to get on base.
The 1-2. Inside corner, strikeout of Holliday. Now Holliday has been ejected by Joe West. On-base streak is over, and it ends with a Joe West ejection. Matheny's gone. Well, you might as well get your money's worth now.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan Braun comes in from the outfield and has his say. Says, yeah, in about last inning.
Someone better get Holliday and make sure nothing further happens here. That's Kerwin Danley trying to get in between he and Joe West.
Again, I feel your pain.
I was going to say, I feel your pain.
That's two big boys right there.
Attaboy, Joe.
Well, we know that Matt Holliday said that ball's inside. He said that a couple of different times, and maybe he said it one more time. He said that ball's inside. You could see him mouth that, and Joe did not like the argument. And I think the interesting Cardinal complaint could be, after what Segura did, after he struck out and he wasn't tossed and Holliday was, what's the difference?
Streak ends here. Called third strike on Holliday. So it finishes up at 45, and quite a list there. Jeter, Thomas, McGuire, Alvin Davis, 1984, and Matt Holliday. 40,000 plus came here tonight to see Joe West. You know that. Players are the sideshow. Check swing and a foul ball off the bat of Grichuk, who's 2 for 2.
Distressing, isn't it, when you think about it, with what Holliday's been doing, and you know, I don't know what he said, and I guess that's going to be up for debate and going to be at some hearing somewhere in New York 2 weeks from now, when they're going to decide whether or not that was a proper ejection and fines and all that, which gets decided by the league office. And fortunately, as you said, they got him off the field, so we're not worried about a suspension question. But I guess according to Joe West, he said too much.
It's sharply to third. Ramirez, and a forced play at second. 40,000. Yep, they paid to see you. Sports Midwest. Let's go to our studio at a Bob Marito Sports Update with Pat Paris. So the ejection of both Holliday and Mike Matheny. So Peter Borges takes over in center. John Jay shifts from center to left.
And the job for Lance Lynn is just to ignore all of that. His job is to pitch, and your manager's not there, your left fielder's not there, emotions were high, and you know, you've been getting a pretty good strike zone yourself, so just kind of go keep doing what you're doing.
For Mike Matheny, first time he's been ejected this year, 9th overall. Holiday, his first ejection this season. 4th time in his career. All 4 have been on called third strikes. And there's a strike on Sardinias. But Joe West, I mean, this strike zone's been wide on both sides. I mean, it's not just Holiday. Braun had issues with it, rightfully so. Sardinias, that last pitch, not a strike.
Even the strikeout of Segura.
Bring him up.
To end the 7th inning was him chasing a pitch that he was afraid was going to be called a strike that was outside of the zone. So it's a wide plate. And I guess only people in the pitchers union are happy about that.
There has got to be accountability for those that call the balls and strikes. Safe or out. Sardinias is exactly what you're talking about there. 2 strikes. That pitch was on the corner. Felt he had to protect it.
Well, and the hitters are going to get a little over anxious here, and you might see more chasing. And that's what we saw with Segura. And when you get hitters chasing as a pitcher, it's fun because now you can play with them. You just go a little bit further.
Ground ball right side. Reynolds to Lynn, and the out. Lance Lynn has been outstanding here tonight.
Yeah, he really has. The control is certainly there for Lance Lynn. He's walked just 1 batter, and really the pitch count low enough that he's working into this 8th inning. That's what Lance Lynn can do, should do, and is doing here tonight.
Segris getting loose. Maness has been up.
I would guess it's a fairly short leash with Lance Lynn working into the 8th inning. You get a runner on base, he may be out. Gomez is next from the right side. Parra from the left side. Certainly Segrist would be in to face him.
Two and one. Jason Rogers has been the top pinch hitter for Milwaukee. 6 for 19.
Got the start here in game 1. You and I both like his potential. There's that outside corner plus. Now you can go outside just a little bit further, see if he'll chase.
Ground ball up the middle. Wong backhands, can't get it out of the glove. On Saturday, June 13th, walk home with a Cardinals pet leash. Compliments of Nestle Purina. They're available to 25,000 pet lovers ages 16 and older. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. And that's a ball to Carlos Gomez. Gomez bunted his way on back in the 6th inning and struck out his first time up and his second time up. 1 for 3 tonight.
You know, there are a lot of folks that are wondering, Joe's having a bad night with the strike zone. Every night the umpires will get a file showing the pitches they missed, the calls on the bases they missed, statistics on how they did. Now you don't get it at a time where you need it, and that's what Lance Lynn is thinking. Trying not to react to that, but he's not happy with that pitch call. But umpires are accountable. We just don't hear about it. Thank you.
Catch made by Grichuk.
3-0.
Swinging away on 3-0. Crowd tonight of 42,835. 42835. The 11th sellout this year. David Bell is now the manager, and Lynn, what an ovation he'll get. We're in the top of the 8th. Lynn has turned it over to the bullpen. He was sensational tonight. Hyundai pitch arsenal for Kevin Segrist.
One guy that likes to throw fastballs from the right side is replaced by a guy that likes to throw fastballs from the left side. 77% is Hyundai pitch arsenal, but has used the changeup more this year. Slider, curveball, still a pitch that's developing, and he will use that against left-handers.
Here's the first pitch to Parra, and a strike.
I think the right move here, Parra's history against Lance Lynn, the pitch count. Again, Parra, 11 career hits against Lance Lynn. I think you can't take that chance. You've got to go with Segrist. Appearance number 25. I guess that's David Bell's first pitching change as the acting manager of the moment, with Mike Matheny being tossed in defense of Matt Holliday. Now the signs come from David.
1-1 pitch to Parra. 1-2.
Taking away the gap in right center field. Off the line is Grichuk, giving him that right field line. thinking Seegers would be tough to pull.
Two pitch.
That's the curveball, and telegraphed a bit. We could kind of see that about halfway through the motion that it was coming, and he just kind of spun it a little, showed it to him. I think he's going to get number one right here.
Rogers, the runner at first base. He's off with the pitch. 2 outs. Here's a 3-2 to Parra. On its way. And a fly ball lifted out to left field. Going back, John Jay. He's got it. Yellowwood bringing the lumber. Not a lot of hitting in this series, but Randall Grichuk, that was a double. Then he eventually scored on a base hit from Mark Reynolds. 1-0 was the final last night. Cardinals lead 1-0 here in game number 2.
You know, reminds me of those games in 2011 we talked about last night with Garcia pitching, where Garcia shut out Milwaukee on the 6th of May in 2011, and Giovanni Gallardo shut out the Cardinals the very next day. I mean, just tremendous pitching. And we've certainly seen that the first 2 games of this series. Michael Blazek has a very good fastball, and he had a very good May. ERA at 1.27. He's becoming kind of a fixture in this bullpen for Milwaukee.
He's 4-1 this year. 1.27 ERA overall. 28 in the 3rd innings.
Well, the Cardinals liked him when they had him. He has a curveball and a good fastball. Starts out Molina with the curveball, but really a 2-pitch guy, which a lot of relievers are, and there's the curve again.
1 ball, 1 strike. Opponents hitting just 158 against Michael Blazek.
Be nice to get a little insurance here in the bottom of the 8th for the Cardinals. You mentioned earlier, Dan, that St. Louis had hit into double plays in 3 straight innings, the 3rd, 4th, and the 5th. The last time they did that was against Milwaukee 2 seasons ago. Same innings, 34-5. And that's kept the Cardinals from extending their lead here tonight.
Here's a 2-2.
I know what you're going to say. Same spot. Am I in your head again?
Indeed. Ground ball to second. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals.
So you're getting a little predictable, Dan, to me. Does that bother you at all, that I'm understanding what you're thinking?
Yes. Here's Reynolds, who has the 2-out base hit back in the second to account for the only run, an RBI to drive in Randall Grichuk. Single in the second, bounced into a double play. Ground ball. Stays fair, and the strong throw by Ramirez. 2 down. Look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal for Michael Blazek.
2 kinds of breaking balls, but again, essentially a fastball breaking ball pitcher. And the fastball, he can rush it up there. Live arm. I liked him when the Cardinals had him. He wasn't here very long. But you saw the life in the fastball. You saw the sharpness of the breaking pitch. You thought maybe there's a future there. He really spent a lot of the year a year ago in AAA after getting traded for Axford.
Oh, 0-2 on John Jay. Rosenthal is set for the 9th. And a strikeout of Jay. 1-2-3 inning for Blazek. Rosenthal coming on when we come back. He's had a very good year thus far. 15 of 16 in save opportunities. Our Chevy called to the pen. He gets Braun, Lind, and Lucroy. So the heart of this lineup coming up for Milwaukee.
That's the way it's supposed to be in the ninth inning. Your best, their best.
Jason Hayward takes over in right field. Randall Grichuk shifts to left field. Braun had words with Joe West when he struck out back in the 6th. Ground ball deep in the hole. Peralta, no play. Leadoff man is on. St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light Lime, the perfect beer for whatever happens. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Ryan Braun has 6 stolen bases this year. He's been caught 1 time. That gets overlooked with his power. He does run well. Adam Lind, fly to left, grounded out, and a single to left field.
You don't normally think of Trevor Rosenthal as the guy who's going to get a double play. That's not really his forte. He's going to get swing and misses on the fastball and pop-ups.
Big out. Wong wants it. Has it. 1 down. Budweiser player of the game is Lance Lynn. 7 2/3. Just 5 hits, only 1 walk, and he struck out 5. 119 pitches tonight for Lynn. First pitch is strike to Lucroy. Look at the hands of Molina on that play. My goodness.
So quick. Bill Schroeder is the broadcaster and our good friend with Milwaukee. We see a little slip too from Rosenthal, then the quick hands of Molina. Bill was a longtime catcher in the big leagues and terrific college player, major league player, and he said he loves to watch Molina play. He just does things that nobody else can do. He's absolutely right.
1-1 is hit down the right field line and a base hit. Braun to second. Braun to third. Runners at the corners, only 1 out.
It's the right field swing that Lucroy has been working on today, and Braun has to duck first and then is able to go first to third. You mentioned he runs very well. It's overlooked, part of his abilities. And now some work left for Trevor Rosenthal.
Ramirez 4 for 5 against Trevor Rosenthal. First pitch hit out of play. Ramirez tonight is 0 for 3. Twice his fly to center. Also popped out to second. One ball, 1 strike. It out of play. 2 strikes on Ramirez.
Crowd was tentative after the base hits. Now they're hoping for the strikeout.
Time call.
Everything Yadier says to a pitcher, he says with authority, doesn't he? You're not always going to be right. It's not always going to work out, but he's got an idea.
The 2-2. Ground ball, left side. Can they turn 2? Out at second. The stretch. Double play. Cardinals win it with the double play. 1-0 the final. Oh, my goodness.
I don't know how they turn this double play, but they do. Terrific victory. Rosenthal gets the save. Lance Lynn a well-deserved victory.
He's now grounded into 213 career double plays, 6th all-time among active players, and a big one to end this night.